Are cyber attacks really a food safety issue? Food system experts are increasingly warning that cyber attacks, attacks on the computer systems of a company, pose threats to food safety, and that they should therefore be addressed in every food company's food defence plans. Reminder, a food defence threat is an action that could result in food being intentionally adulterated with harmful materials for the purpose of hurting consumers or the food company. However, while protection from cyber attacks makes good business sense, is it really a food safety issue? Cyber attacks certainly cause serious financial losses and major disturbance to food supply chains. A ransomware attack on the world's largest meat supplier, JBS SA, in 2021 caused disruptions to every JBS processing facility in the USA. But do they actually result in direct food safety risks? Examples of how a cyber attack could result in a malicious food adulteration event are really hard to come by. So when I saw the headline, Ransomware, Lessons Learned from One Food Company's Experience in the Food Industry Press last week, I was excited to learn more and eagerly dived into the story. Unfortunately, the article published in Food Safety Tech contained only lessons for IT professionals and senior managers. Valuable lessons, no doubt, but not food safety lessons. Disappointing. The US FDA says they're concerned about risks from cyber attacks, with John Woody, Director of Defense and Emergency Coordination, saying, "Cyber is something we've increasingly been focusing on over the past years. There are ransomware issues, but we are looking at connections between cybersecurity and public health. Part of this process has been educating ourselves and reaching out to others who have the expertise to get up to speed." So, what exactly are the links between cybersecurity and public health? And what are the food safety vulnerabilities that food companies must mitigate? While researching this article, I found no evidence that any cyber attacker had ever caused an intentional adulteration incident from a remote location. I did, however, find some examples of potential food safety threats from a cyber attack, like this one in foodsafety.com. If a security issue, and I'm quoting here from foodsafety.com, if a security issue occurs, say for instance an unsecured door blows open, pathogens could inadvertently contaminate food products on the line. We'll just pause here for experienced food safety professionals to roll their eyes over that one. On the other hand, a cyber attack that changes the gas mix in a controlled atmosphere cool room could destroy an entire harvest of apples, or potentially even endanger the workers tasked with unloading the room. Serious, but not a direct food safety risk. More digging did eventually turn up some scenarios where cyber attacks could contribute to malicious food adulteration incidents. I share these in the examples below. Example 1. Security camera feeds. In 2021, a security company was hacked, giving access to video feeds from more than 150,000 cameras belonging to the company and installed in their customers' premises. The footage included material from Tesla factories, hospitals, police departments, schools, and prisons. In a food business, security cameras are used to monitor critical areas. If the camera feeds are manipulated by hackers, a person contaminating food in an area monitored by CCTV, that's closed circuit television, could potentially do so undiscovered. Security camera footage also carries information about who is allowed to access critical areas. When combined with facial recognition technology, this could allow a malicious person to track down critical food company employees in order to coerce them or steal their credentials to gain access to critical areas where contamination could be perpetrated. Non-food safety risks from hacked security cameras include deep faked footage for causing reputational damage. For example, fake footage of animal welfare violations and theft of intellectual property, such as recipes and processes. Example 2. Industrial control systems using PLCs. Much food processing equipment uses programmable logic controllers, PLCs, that were developed long before cybersecurity was a concern. They do not have the processing power or memory to allow for security upgrades, and they typically use older data transfer protocols which are less secure than modern systems. A successful cyber attack on the PLC systems in a food factory would result in disruption and wastage, while the affected systems were replaced or disinfected. While food could become unsafe after an attack, for example by being undercooked or overdosed with additives, it's unlikely that unsafe food would then pass through subsequent checks and systems without being identified and quarantined. Cleaning in place systems are vulnerable to attacks on their control systems. In fact, an Ecolab representative reported that a computerized CIP system they installed, which was protected from cyber attacks, experienced 250,000 hacking attempts in its first 30 days of operation. Failures of CIP could result in unsafe food. Many food facilities with older industrial control systems maintain an airlock between their systems and the internet to prevent hackers from getting access to systems. However, the use of USB sticks to update software or to transfer data provides a route for malware into airlock systems, with USB drives providing a common route for malware to get into industrial control systems. Interestingly, the need for better controls on employees' use of USB sticks was a key learning for a US soft drink bottling company, which shared details of a ransomware attack they experienced in 2021. Example 3. Personnel access systems. Computerized systems that control access to critical areas, such as systems which make use of programmable keycards or RFID chips, could be hacked to allow unauthorized people to get into critical areas and adulterate food. Such an attack would still require a knowledgeable insider to carry out the adulteration. Remote and unassisted attacks. Difficult. The interesting thing about the 3 cyber attack food safety vulnerabilities described above is that 2 of them require in-person, boots-on-the-ground actions to commit an intentional adulteration event. Security camera breaches and personnel access breaches could support a food contamination event, but not cause the event. The other vulnerability, the malfunctioning of one or more industrial control systems, could cause a food safety hazard, but such a hazard is likely to be identified during subsequent checks and verifications. On this basis, it seems unlikely that a bad actor sitting at a computer with no physical assistance from someone on site could successfully orchestrate a food adulteration event that evades detection and sickens consumers. Remotely perpetrated cyber attacks can cause huge problems for food companies and pose risks to their systems, employees, and customers. Espionage, equipment damage, dangerously malfunctioning robots, food waste, security breaches, operational disruptions, reputational damage, and financial losses are all possible, even likely, for companies with cyber vulnerabilities. However, the ability of a cyber attack to directly create dangerously adulterated food without the assistance of a physical person in the food facility is limited. Takeaways for food safety professionals. Cyber attacks present risks to food companies and their employees in the form of financial losses, reputational damage, and operational disruptions. However, there are limited scenarios in which a cyber attack on its own could result in an undetected and intentional food safety risk. A perpetrator with malicious intentions could use compromised computer systems to assist them in adulterating food, for example by allowing them unauthorized access to controlled areas, or by allowing them to alter critical cleaning regimes and hide the evidence of cleaning failures. However, without the assistance of an insider or a physical presence in the facility, perpetrating an undetected food adulteration event using computer systems alone would be difficult. In short, cyber attacks pose serious risks to food company operations. Cyber attacks could be used to assist an intentional adulteration perpetrator, for example by providing access to restricted areas or manipulating CCTV feeds. Evidence of a cyber attacker causing an intentional food adulteration incident from a remote location could not be found. Cyber attacks on industrial control systems such as refrigeration controllers, equipment controllers, or cleaning in place systems could result in accidental, predictable food safety hazards which are likely to be detected. And as always, I've included all my sources in the email and the post, and you can check them out there.